Men, there's a mistake that quietly kills your chances with women in their 30s and 40s. It's not your height, your wallet, or your Hinge prompt. It's how you handle the timeline. You either rush to lock it down to prove you're serious, or you float so casual she thinks you're wasting her time. Both moves signal fear, not leadership. And yes, this will sting a little. Beat. Quick note before we go further. We're discussing behaviors in unhealthy dynamics, not generalizing to everyone. Use this to spot patterns, set boundaries, and choose healthy relationships. Here, as the taboo thesis. The biggest mistake men make with women in this age range is turning early dating into a negotiation about the destination. Labels, timelines, kids, moving in, before there's earned trust. That energy converts a warm connection into a job interview. It treats romance like a calendar problem to be solved instead of a bond to be built. In your head, you're saving time. In her body, it lands like pressure or vagueness, depending on which extreme you lean toward. Why does it backfire so hard? Because the timeline talk isn't neutral. 30-somethings and 40-somethings often carry more context. Careers, co-parenting schedules, prior heartbreaks, maybe a divorce. For some, those experiences create clarity. For others, caution. When you lead with, "Where is this going?" on date 2, it triggers survival math. Commit now or duck out before I get stuck. When you avoid intention entirely, it triggers the opposite. I can't trust this man to lead. He's comfortable keeping me in the grey. Let me show you through a real situation. Jake, 35, met Maya, 37, at a friend's wine tasting. First date was electric. Banter, eye contact, glances that lingered. Second date, Jake tried to do the right thing. He said, "Just so you know, I'm looking for something serious. If this keeps feeling good, I'd want exclusivity sooner than later." He thought he was being clear. She nodded, said she appreciated the honesty. Then her texts cooled and the third date never happened. Jake replayed the convo, irritated. "So women say they want honesty, but they punish it." Not exactly. Here is what actually landed. He was trying to negotiate a future with a stranger to preempt a fear. That's transactional energy. The subtext wasn't, "I'm reliable." It was, "I'm rushing to secure you so I don't lose you." Lower. Your urgency makes her nervous. Another pattern shows up on the other side. Luis, 41, divorced, meets Aaron, 39, at an industry panel. He's exhausted from a marriage that felt like walking on eggshells, so he vows to keep it easy. For 6 weeks they do fun dinners, great chemistry, no labels. She brings up the "what are we" question lightly once. He says, "Let's not rush it. I'm really enjoying this." She drops off. Luis shrugs. Guess she wanted too much too soon. And misses the point. He wasn't wrong to go slow, but he failed to offer a steady pace with intention. No weekly rhythm, no trajectory, just vibes. To someone who's had their time wasted before, that reads as a soft no. Notice the trap on both sides? The fast-forward strategy and the endless vibes strategy are the same mistake with different costumes. Both treat the timeline as the main lever. One tries to force certainty early, the other refuses to provide any. Neither builds trust. Trust is built through congruent actions over time, not negotiated promises. You can't skip the discovery phase. You can lead it. Which brings us to the shift that changes everything. Replace timeline negotiation with paced discovery. Here's the frame. Clarify your intent early without forcing outcomes, then set a steady cadence that gives the bond a fair shot to grow. That means you don't offer exclusivity as a sales pitch in week 2. You also don't play it so laissez-faire that she's guessing. You create a rhythm, one meaningful date a week, increasing depth, light check-ins, then decide based on how it actually feels and functions, not on paper, not in theory. Let's decode a few phrases you'll hear in this stage, because the words can be tricky. They say, "I'm not in a rush, but I know what I want." Could mean, "Show me consistent effort without pressure and I'll open up." Verify by, "Do they reciprocate plans, invest in getting to know you and keep the weekly momentum?" Respond with, "I am looking for something real and I like a steady pace. Let us keep seeing each other weekly and keep it honest." One clean sentence, no debate. Pause. Another micro-story, grounded and common. Devon, 32, starts seeing Alina, 36, a creative director with a 7-year-old son. The chemistry is there, but the logistics are real. School pickups, deadlines, an ex who calls late at night. Devon tries to be impressive. He fixes problems she never asked him to solve. He texts reminders, offers to pay for a sitter, reorganizes her calendar. He becomes the logistics manager instead of the man she's dating. At first, she's grateful. Then she's distant. Why? Because he collapsed his boundaries to earn closeness, which ends up feeling parental, not romantic. He wasn't asked to rescue her. He decided the timeline needed to move faster, and he tried to manufacture it with effort. Effort can't substitute for fit. Here's where most men get blindsided. When a woman in her 30s or 40s says she doesn't want her time wasted, she's not asking for a condo tour and a fertility plan by Saturday. She's asking for congruence. Congruence is, do your actions match your intentions? If you want something serious, do you show up weekly? Do you ask layered questions? Do you keep your word? You don't have to pass a perfect test, you just have to be coherent. Now, notice what happens next when you do it right. The discovery phase reveals patterns without drama. Does she get weird when you don't text all day, demanding immediate reassurance? Does she say she wants depth but avoids anything emotional? Is she always busy next week, never offering alternatives? These aren't verdicts about her character, they're data points about alignment. In your 20s, novelty can carry a relationship for months. In your 30s and 40s, friction shows up faster. That's useful if you're paying attention. Let's talk mechanics so you're not guessing. Research suggests that consistent, low-pressure exposure over 6-12 weeks is enough to reveal most compatibility blockers: time capacity, conflict style, attachment patterns, value alignment. Your job is to create that container. The mistake is trying to jump to the verdict or refusing to deliver the container. Translation. Early talks about what are fine when they reuse to set pace, not deliver promises. Which brings us to some patterns men misread with women in this stage of life. One is standards versus guardedness. She may present with very clear boundaries: no late-night invites, intentional dates, healthy communication. Great. If it's standards, you'll experience warmth once those boundaries are respected. If it's guardedness, everything stays procedural and affection doesn't increase. Another pattern is comparing to the ex talk. If she mentions her divorce or past partner often, listen for whether it's processed insight or fresh grievance. You are not there to outperform a ghost. You are there to connect as two adults now. Let's integrate another translation moment. They say, I don't want to waste time. Could mean, communicate intention clearly and don't breadcrumb me with attention you can to sustain. Imi verify by, when you mirror that clarity, do they also reciprocate, suggest dates, initiate topics and share their world? Or do they sit back and audit your effort? Respond with, I'm intentional too. I don't make big commitments in week 3, and I'll show up consistently while we figure this out. That line holds both truth and pace. Here is the part nobody tells you. The biological clock, in narrative, can be a pressure point for both people. But trying to manage it in the first few dates is like designing the nursery before you'd have seen each other under stress. It's not that those conversations are off limits, it's that context matters. If these are priorities for you, voice them simply and watch the response. I do want a family someday. I'm not making that decision in a month, but I don't casually date. That's leadership without edge. The wrong approach is interrogating her timeline and then either fast-tracking or ghosting based on a spreadsheet. You'll also see the busy but available paradox. Women in their 30s and 40s often have big lives. That's not a problem, it's a filter. The question is capacity. Some partners protect a recurring slot for you because they're genuinely interested. Others want constant texting but never put you in their calendar. Don't take high text, low availability as proof of connection. Connection lives on the calendar. If it's not moving from screen to real life, that's your cue to simplify. Say it plainly and kindly, then let the chips fall. A third translation to keep in your pocket. They say, I'm focused on my career, kids right now. Could mean, I have limited capacity. I need a sustainable pace that fits my life. Verify by, do they keep a recurring time with you or frequently cancel and reschedule without alternatives? Respond with, I respect your priorities. Let's choose a consistent night that works for you and keep it stress-free. That's not pressure. That's structure. Structure creates safety. So why does the paced discovery approach work so well? Because your nervous systems need time to calibrate. Early dopamine fades, and then the circuitry of trust takes over. The grown-up good stuff, patience, honesty under mild stress, aligned values, only shows up with repetition. If you rush, her body reads it as an attempt to control. If you float, her body reads it as threat of ambiguity. Steady pace reduces threat for both people. It's how secure attachment feels, attentive without urgency, independent without distance. Hold that thought, because the real test shows up around weeks 4 to 6. Remember that early surge of attention? Here's how it flips. If it's real, the connection is warmer. Conversations get more revealing, the dates have a rhythm. If it's performative, you'll see a test or a drop. The test might be a last-minute plan to see if you'll rearrange your life. The drop might be a sudden coldness to see if you chase. Don't overreact. This is where you set the tone. This is exactly where boundary scripts save you. Use your words, then let behavior speak. Try. I move at a steady pace. Connection first, then decisions. If that doesn't work for you, I respect it. Calm, not defensive, or I'm not rushing you and I'm not leaving this vague. Let's keep seeing each other weekly and check in as it evolves. None of this is a plea. It's an offer. Offers make you trustworthy, not pushy. Let's make it practical. If you want to avoid the timeline trap and build something that actually lasts, run a simple protocol for the first 6 to 10 weeks. Meet once a week for a real date, no endless coffee loops, make it meaningful, light, then progressively deeper. Text enough to coordinate and share small moments, but don't try to maintain a 24/7 thread. Introduce light stress tests organically, plan something in the rain, try a small hike, cook together to see how you collaborate. Share a bit of your scar tissue without trauma dumping. Watch how she handles it. Then make decisions based on patterns, not a single dazzling night. And quick caution on intimacy. Physical connection is fantastic, just don't use it to bypass emotional pacing. If you get physical early, pair it with verbal clarity, not fantasy. I like this with you. I'm not calling us exclusive yet. I care about building this from a steady place. That line may feel vulnerable, that's the point. It's more respectful than silent assumptions that lead to mismatched expectations. At this point, some men ask, but won't I lose her if I don't lock it down? In toxic dynamics, maybe. In healthy ones, clarity plus pacing is attractive. Adults with options are allergic to pressure and ambiguity. They relax around consistency and boundaries. Your energy should say, I'm time-rich, I'm not desperate, I have room for you. That's very different from, we need to decide today, or let's just see where it goes indefinitely. There is another common snag you will avoid with this approach, becoming the project manager for her life. In your eagerness to demonstrate value, you may find yourself mediating co-parenting disputes, suggesting therapists, rewriting resumes. That's not partnership, that's overfunctioning. The frame is simple: support without taking over, care without control. If you carry the relationship with effort, you'll resent it. If you starve it of initiation, it will wither. The middle is the only sustainable lane. Let me give you a real-world callback to Devon and Alina. After we worked on his frame, he stopped fixing. He invited, he said, I like you. Tuesdays are mine if you want them. He kept his gym, his friends, his reading. He stopped texting between meetings like a personal assistant. What happened? Their dates got better. Her affection increased because she didn't feel managed. 2 months in, they decided to be exclusive because the connection earned it, not because the calendar demanded it. Here's a short checklist you can keep in your notes so the behavior matches the mindset. State intent early in one sentence. I date for a real relationship, and I move at a steady pace. Create a recurring cadence, one real date every 7 to 10 days. Escalate depth, not drama. Watch for reciprocity, Effort in planning, curiosity, and openness. Keep your life intact. Gym, work, friends, hobbies, no mini mergers. Use light check-ins. Still enjoying this? Around week 4. Want to keep this exclusive? Around week 6 to 10, based on how it feels. Don't fix their life. Offer support when asked. Avoid becoming logistics manager. Make decisions from patterns, not pressure. 3 consistent green lights beat 1 grand promise. If a conversation gets sticky, keep a couple more boundary scripts ready so you're never improvising from anxiety. Try. I'm interested in a committed relationship, and I don't make big decisions in the first few weeks. Let's keep it simple and honest. Or, I want you to feel safe here. If you need faster certainty than I can give, I won't hold you. No hard feelings. These lines aren't games. They're alignment tools. Nobody wastes time when the truth is on the table. You might be wondering, how do I know if she's actually aligned or just saying the right things? You verify through congruent behavior. If she says she values communication but goes silent after mild conflict, that's incongruence. If she says she's not in a rush but demands exclusivity after date 2, that's incongruence. Remember, verify by rhythm, not rhetoric. Ask yourself, is this getting easier, warmer, and more honest as weeks go by? If yes, you're on track. If you feel more anxious, confused, or managerial, reset or release. There's a humor to all of this if you zoom out. Dating in your 30s and 40s can feel like mergers and acquisitions. Everyone has a portfolio, career assets, family liabilities, timelines. That's fine. Bring your CFO brain to the second month, not the second drink. The human part goes first. Compatibility, flow, trust, attraction. The logistics come after you've seen how you two move through small stress without flipping into negotiation mode. To cement this, picture one more micro-story. Sam, 38, pilot, meets Noor, 34, architect. First 3 dates were classic. Laughter, playful teasing, good physical chemistry. On date 4, she mentions her 5-year plan. Sam feels the squeeze and counters with his not-a-plan. Tension, he pauses, breathes, and says, I like where this is going. Let us keep the pace easy and check in again after we had a few more experiences together. They go bowling on a rainy Tuesday. They argue about gutter guards. They laugh. The check-in 2 weeks later is effortless. Both want to keep building. The planned conversation at month 3 is actually romantic, not transactional, because now it's anchored in reality. What you're building here isn't just a technique, it's an identity. You're the man who doesn't let fear set the speed. You bring clarity early and hold space for discovery. You have room for a partner, and you don't collapse your life to audition. You can hear someone's needs without scrambling to meet them yesterday. You don't weaponize timelines or hide behind them. You lead with patience, you vet with kindness, and you choose with courage. And yes, there's an ultimatum hidden in this. If you don't master pace, you'll keep oscillating between 2 outcomes. Partners who feel pressured and bolt, or partners who tolerate ambiguity and drain you. If you hold your pace, you'll polarize faster, in a good way. The wrong matches will opt out early. The right ones will exhale and lean in. That is the quiet superpower of men who don to negotiate the destination on date 2. They create a container people want to stay in. Before you go, feel this in your body. Time isn't your enemy, scarcity is. The minute you act like the last train is leaving the station, you hand your power to panic. The minute you act like there's no train schedule at all, you hand your power to chaos. Pick the third path. Be the conductor, steady, clear, unhurried. So when you meet that incredible woman in her 30s or 40s, avoid the mistake of turning the first dates into a timeline tribunal. Give her the gift of grounded leadership. Give yourself the gift of discernment. Put connection on the calendar. Keep your promises small and your actions consistent. If it's right, it will reveal itself. If it's not, your pace will protect you. If you got value from this, and you want more scripts, more frameworks, more real-world case studies, hit subscribe. I'm here every week, helping good men become wise men. Beat, let's build better love stories.